Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. In this Titan Quest 2 video, I want to talk to you about my Fire Elementalist. That's right, we're going to be combining the Earth and Storm masteries to make an Elementalist. We're going to be using the main ability, Rolling Magma here, which does have the downside of having the exhaust mechanic. If you haven't played Titan Quest 2 or don't know what this means, basically, if an ability has exhaust on there, what's going to happen is when you cast the ability, you're going to have 75% reduced energy regeneration. But you can play around this mechanic, and actually this build, I was pretty impressed with how well it did play out, and I was having so much fun with it, I did actually push it to level 40. Some other skills we're going to use in this here is going to be Ring of Fire and Ignite. These are going to help bolster up more damage for our Rolling Magma. We're also going to be using the Earth Enhancement as a nice buff, and then a Blink Form ability. We're going to break it all down here in the video. Everything will be timestamped down below. So before you ask, well, why aren't you talking about passives? They're going to be towards the end of the video. It's just the way that I like to do these things here. We're going to go ahead and kick it off here with active abilities. One other thing I wanted to mention here is leveling up this build was a little bit challenging, but if you follow the order of the skills here that we're going to talk about in the video, that would be the order of which I would re-level if I were to level up another Fire Elementalist Rolling Magma build. Went ahead and jumped to the game here, and the very first ability, of course, is going to be Rolling Magma. I'll try to have some gameplay up going as well so you can see what the build actually looks like. But Rolling Magma, this is our main ability, and I already talked about the exhaust mechanic. We're going to go ahead and just jump into the order that I would level this thing up with. So your very first one is you're going to go a full 17 out of 17 points on here. The very first thing you're going to want to grab here is Overload. So basically what this is going to do is this is going to give you the Overload debuff, which plays into your passive abilities that we are going to talk about later in the video. But while we're on the topic here, you can get more damage with Overload abilities, increased damage actually. And then I believe over here on Storm as well. So you're kind of double dipping there. So you're going to be wanting to get that Overload right out of the gate here. And you don't have to have it only for those passives. You also do get more damage. But Overload does deal damage to you over time, but it's not that bad. You can actually outplay it pretty easily with health potions and stuff like that. I'd go a full 3 out of 3 into Overload and then come down here to Grandeur. Hopefully I said that correctly. Basically what this is going to do is the explosion is going to deal 77% of energy as additional fire damage. So if you think about that, the more energy this ability costs, basically the more additional fire damage you're going to get. You're also going to get more energy costs based on your current energy. And then after that, I would go here and grab the 4 points here in enhanced damage. I did try a couple other things. So leveling up, I went with Overwhelm, which basically you can get 3 stacks of Overwhelm through your basic attack. You can also go into this ability here, Flame Volley, and you can get it to gain Overwhelm here as well. And I tried this setup, wasn't a big fan of it, but you'll see in the gameplay, you can see here on my hotbar, I do have it on my right click. So if I run out of energy, I'll spam that. But we're not using that Overwhelm mechanic at all, but it is an option. I just personally didn't like it as much as just getting more damage here. So that's going to be everything for your Rolling Magma. That's going to be your main ability that you're just going to be spamming all the time. And you can see right here, we have enough mana that we can get like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these balls out here before I actually run out of energy there. But the next ability, and then you can also see here, I guess, is those Overload stacks. You can see we're dropping health here. This is where your barrier is going to come into play and your energy potions as well. But we will talk about barrier here in a little bit. Next up, we have Flame Volley, and I did touch on this a little bit, but this one you're going to want to go 17 out of 17 into this as well. The very first one that I would pick up here is Orbit. This is going to make it so that this thing will automatically cast. Now you might wonder why I'm not going a full 5 points. And it's basically because going extra points into this, I can show you real quick, just makes it so that you lose Amplify a little bit slower. But the thing is, we're going to be gaining Amplify so fast with this ability that it doesn't even matter. We just need the 1 point to be able to auto cast this thing. And the other thing of note with the autocast here is cast speed actually affects the frequency of this cast time. So cast speed is going to be important for this build as well. But again, Flame Volley, this one's not really about like this. Sure, it's like kind of passive damage. I mean, it was just kind of like I had extra points and I was like, what else can I dump these into? And so this is what I landed on because it's just straight passive damage, right? So after you get Orbit, you're going to want to go into Amplify damage. Basically, what Flame Volley, I guess I should talk about what the ability actually does, is it has no cost tied to it and no cooldown. So you can spam this thing. It's pretty nice. What it's going to do is it's going to fire projectiles from above your head, and it'll target whatever, it'll explode. And then every 19 energy that you spend, no matter what you're spending it on, you will get a stack of Amplify. And we can get up to 36 stacks here. And then you get more cast speed for this thing, which doesn't matter since we're auto casting it. And then whenever it shoots a fire bolt out, you will lose 1 stack of Amplify. Now you can spec into the conservation node here to, you know, have a chance of not using some of those. But like I said, I'm generating so much Amplify that I'm always have like 30 to 36 stacks. So it really doesn't matter that much anyway. So that's kind of how the Amplify works, is just by spending mana, you gain Amplify. And if you remember, the more energy that our rolling Magma costs, the more damage it does. More energy, more damage, more Amplify. You can kind of see how that all synergizes there. So Amplify damage is going to be the next one. You're going to want to go 5 out of 5 on this thing. And it is just going to make it so more Amplify gives you more damage, but with a higher Amplify cost. Over here on Enhanced Amplify is actually how we're getting up to the 36. By default, you can only have 20 stacks of Amplify, but over here we can get that up to 36. And I think if I put an extra point in there, you could get an extra 4 stacks, but I just felt like the more damage was just better anyway. So that's going to be your second ability here, Flame Volley. I love it because it's just auto, and it just does its thing on its own. I don't even have to really think about it. Now, while leveling up, you know, one of the big bottlenecks here is going to be your divinity that you can get over here. And this next one we're going to talk about is Ring of Flame. And this thing does cost your tier 3 divinity. So I believe it's, what, a total of 18 divinity points or whatever to get over to this. So if you have enough, this would be the third ability I would go into here. If you don't have enough for this one, you can go into Earth Enhancement, and then we'll talk about that next. But that would be if you don't have enough divinity. But once you do, you're going to want to, the third ability you're going to want to grab here is Ring of Flame. Now, this one not only looks pretty awesome, but it actually bolsters up our fireball, or sorry, rolling magma as well. So Rolling Flame, the way it works is it has an active and a passive ability here. When you first activate it, you're going to get a little bit of movement speed. It's not that noticeable. And you're going to get fire damage as well. You're going to get a fire damage buff for 6 seconds, which is great. And then over on your passive is, while it has Amplify, you're going to deal damage every half second in a radius around you. Literally this ring you're going to see. And then we have ways to make this ring even bigger. It does more damage, and it all scales off your Amplify. Now you can see here, when you use it, you gain 5 Amplify, and then again every 19 energy. So Amplify works the same as it does on the other ability that we already talked about here. The very first points you're going to want to put in here is going to be Weakening Heat. This is going to be so enemies inside of the aura get reduction to their fire resistance. It's cold fire and armor value, but the fire is the important one here. And this goes up to a maximum of 24% less fire resistance. So in theory, makes our rolling magma do more damage. I keep calling it fireball. I apologize for that. But yeah, and so the way it stacks up is every second they gain a stack. So 8, 16, 24. So 3 seconds, it's at max stacks. You're always going to have this ring up and stuff like that anyway. And the second one you're going to want to pick up here is 4 out of 5. We're going to go into Enhanced Amplify. This is so you can get more Amplify stacks. And then this is also going to give you, you know, it does require more energy or whatever it does. You're spending so much energy anyway that it doesn't even matter really. But what we're going for here is that more maximum Amplify here. The reason we want to go in for more Amplify over here is for more damage and increased radius. This is how I got the ring to be so massive. And then you also want to get Empowering Flame. This is going to give you, so that buff gives you an extra 30% increased damage. And then you also get 6 Amplify right out of the gate. So you're going to go 3 Weakening, 4 Enhanced, and then 3 out of 3 Empowering Flame over here. Skill number 4 is going to be your Earth Enhancement. This is an aura ability that you toggle, and when it's on, it seals part of your energy bar. Pretty standard. This one's pretty basic. There are more like options with this, like if you need some resistances or whatever, maybe whatever defense, stuff like that. You can do fire imbuement, but we're not using our weapon at all for this build, so it doesn't, if it was spell damage, sure, but it's fire weapon damage, so not necessary. So we're going to go 17 out of 17 points here into Earth Enhancement. The first one we're going to want to pick up here is Conservation. 5 out of 5 would be the one I recommend. And the reason for that is just simply to reduce the amount of energy that's being consumed to keep this up, because your rolling magma costs so much energy that you need all the energy pool you can get. Once you have 5 out of 5 there, come down here and grab Earth Enhancement 5 out of 5 to get more or additional increased fire damage here as well. And the aura by default gives you increased fire damage. This is just a damage buff, really, is all this is. It's nice. Love it. Great ability here. I think there's much else to cover on Earth Enhancement there. Over here on Ignite, this is going to be our next ability here. This one's really kind of, I don't know, I have a love-hate relationship. I like this ability because it gives this resistance reduction here. So, you know, makes our rolling magma do more damage. But the thing is, you have to cast this thing every 6.5 seconds, so it can be a little bit annoying to keep up 100% of the time, but it's not terrible. I'm just going to go 7 out of the 17 points here, just so you can get 5 out of 5 for that resistance reduction. Now, while leveling up, there's different options and different things I've tried with this. You can go with proliferation, so that when the ignite ends, it'll jump to another enemy, but it does less damage. I personally just wasn't a huge fan of this, but maybe for fighting a big pack or something, maybe you'd like it more than I did. But I'm at the point where I'm just farming bosses right now, so it's kind of more about single target. The other thing you can do here is Flame Volley has a 15% chance to cast Ignite on hit. The 15% chance was just too low, and I thought, I don't mind just manually casting to guarantee that the debuff is rolling, you know, on the monster or whatever. So that's going to be your Ignite ability here. It does cost energy, no cooldown, and yeah, your resistance reduction is really nice there. And the very last skill here we're going to talk about is Barrier. This is over actually on your core skill tree here. And this one is actually pretty important. You may even want to go into this earlier if your barrier feels weak and you need a little bit more power. But over here, we're going to go into Fast Barrier. This is going to give you conversion rate and then also a cooldown, less of a cooldown. Now, what conversion is basically it's going to make it cost less mana, basically is what it's going to do here. And you can see over here, 1 energy gives you more energy barrier. So the more barrier this thing generates, the more energy it costs, unless you get more of that conversion rate. Anyway, basically more conversion is less energy cost. Just think of it that way. And then, yeah, you're going to go 3 out of 3 into Fast Barrier, and then you're going to go 2 out of 3 into Enduring Barrier. This is going to give you less decay. And then the part I like about this one is after you use it, for 3 seconds after you get more barrier. So you're going to get almost another 1,000 barrier after 3 seconds, which is pretty nice. There's other ones I've tried in here, but these are kind of the 2 that I personally like the best. Let me know down in the comments if you do something different with your barrier. I'd love to hear from you. And then our very last point here, if you've, get to level 40, whatever, you have 1 extra point to dump, whatever it is. I put it into Blink just simply for the mobility, and I went Thunderstorm. I don't know why. It's just to dump the point in there, I guess. I don't know, maybe there's a better one. I did think about going Engage for the reduced damage, but to be honest with you guys, I don't really use Blink during a boss encounter. I just don't need to. But maybe if you're out, leveling up or whatever, that'd be a good one here for the damage reduction. But actually, you'd actually have to have 2 points in here for this to work. So again, that's why I just went 1 point into Thunderstorm. There's a better ways to spend that second point than, a second and a half, I feel like. Now, if you're pushing this, in future content and stuff, yeah, probably damage reduction would be pretty good, but that's not out in the game yet. So next up, we have passives, and the order that I talk about them is the order that I would put points into them as well. The very first one here is Grand Magic. You're going to want to go 12 out of 12 on this thing. You're going to want to get your crit chance, and then you're also going to want to get your spell damage, and then also increased energy cost. Remember, the increased energy cost will also increase the damage of our main ability, Rolling Magma, that we talked about. You could grab these in any order. I think I went crit chance first and then spell damage and cost, just because I was having energy issues early on, but that's what you're going to want there. And then after that, you're going to want to go over to your Storm tree. I know at the beginning we combined Earth and Storm. Storm really only has a few points in it, but here's the next passive that you're going to want to go here. And this is Arcane Influx. This one's an 8-point node here. You're going to want to first grab Energy Regeneration and then Reservation. Basically what this is going to do is give you that energy regen and also increased energy The reservation one was a little bit weird at first because it's going to reserve some of your energy meter, but you're going to get a percentage of the reserved energy as actual regen. So I like it. It's worked great for me so far. Next, we're going to stay in Storm for this third one here. We're going to go into Raging Mind. What this is going to do is give us increased spell damage and cast speed. I went cast speed first here on the feats, I believe they're called, and then crit chance. Pretty straightforward here, I think. And we're actually going to go into Earth Attunement next here, which is going to give us more fire damage. And then our feats is going to give us more cast speed, fire damage, and area damage as well. If you look at your rolling magma, you can see it does indeed have the area tag on there. So you're getting that damage increase as well. After that, we're going to come back down here to Arcane Abundance. This is going to give you more maximum energy. You're going to want to get more skill cost, more maximum energy as your feat, and also regen. I would probably grab regen first and then cost. It doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want with that one. Then you're going to switch back over to Storm. We're going to go into Storm Guidance here. And we're only going to go 7 out of 10 into this one. This one's going to be for your projectile damage here. And then you can get projectile speed, which doesn't really matter. We're literally just getting this for the projectile damage itself there. And then back into Earth, you're going to go 4 points out of the 8 here. And the reason for that is the 2 feats. If you got to level 8, you could pick a second feat here. Ailment chance, don't care about. Attack damage, don't care about. It's a spell, not an attack. So you're only going to put 4 points into Earth Wielder. This is going to give you spell damage as well as crit chance. And then we're going to go back over to Storm, and this is where you're going to be getting into your overload abilities that we talked about at the beginning of the video here. And the next one here is going to be Overcharge. This is going to increase your overload abilities, which is going to be rolling magma. Energy here, this is energy if you cleanse a stack of overload. This actually isn't even going to be used with this build just because we're not cleansing the stacks, but the increased damage is really nice. Then you can also get increased duration, and even more importantly here is taking 40% less damage from overload stacks. Because you'll see in the gameplay, I think we get up to like 40 stacks of overload or something like that. It's actually pretty crazy. And then lastly, over here on your Earth tree, you're going to want to get your Overheat. This is again more increased damage for those overload abilities. And then this one is you get 3 energy for every overload that you generate. So this one you actually will benefit from. And then also you get increased fire damage for each overload. 2%. If we're getting 40 stacks, that's 80% increased fire damage. Pretty awesome. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about what kind of gear you're looking at for this build as well here, and kind of what stats you're chasing, right? The big ones are going to be your energy regeneration, your cast speed, obviously your resistances, maybe a little bit of health. But the big important ones is going to be that energy regen, cast speed, increased fire damage, increased spell damage, stuff like that. So I want to break it actually down by item slot though. We're going to go ahead and kick it off here with your helmet. Now keep in mind, I am level 40, so I'm getting, gear that's closer to level 40, but I haven't found a better helmet yet. This one's only 34. Anyway, we are looking at the gear that's going to be based around knowledge and resolve here. And literally for your attributes, early on I will hoard up points, and I know that probably may not be the best thing, but that's what I do personally. Just so if I find a piece of gear, you can throw it on. But you can see here, I put no extra points into agility, but over here on might, you're going to want, I put at least, I put 55 in there. To start out, I may get your might up to like 60 or 70, and then your knowledge get to 70 plus and just kind of start dumping into knowledge. And then as you get higher level and you see those requirements change, just, kind of switch accordingly. And the big reason we're going into these two here is because you're going to be bumping up resolve. Resolve is going to be what actually gives you fire damage as well. So, and you can actually see it when you're putting points in here. If you check your stat sheet, you can actually see that go up. Where is it? Somewhere right here. Yeah. If you have this open and you put points in there, you'll actually see it go up. See a resolve, which is from might and knowledge. And vigor, which I didn't put any points into either. But that's pretty much going to be your attributes. Okay, now I think we can actually talk about gear here. So with the knowledge-based gear, these are going to be your robes and things that give you energy barrier, which is what makes that barrier even more important that we did invest points into. So over on your helmet, you're going to be wanting to get energy regeneration, which you can see I have, and +4 is actually a pretty high roll. I feel like maybe I've seen a 5 or a 6, but usually it's closer to like 2 energy regen early on. You're also going to want to get resistance, knowledge, and health. And you can see I've got all those. This is actually a really good helmet, which is probably why I haven't replaced it yet with the higher level version. Next up, we have shoulders. And again, you want that base that gives you that energy barrier with resistances, crit chance. Mine's not the best, but you're going to want definitely crit chance and knowledge on there and resistances. If I could change anything about this, I would take that pierce armor and put it into a resistance type, but it actually isn't that bad really. Over here on your robes, and again, this one, instead of pierce armor, I'd rather have any type of resistance. But your base item, energy barrier, that's going to be the same, I think, for all the armor slots. You want health to kind of counteract that overload damage that you're going to be taking. And then you're going to want health regen as well, is going to help with that. And then knowledge on there as well. Not a bad chest piece, actually. Now, this is probably the first most important piece is your helmet. The second most important piece, in my opinion, is your weapon, because this thing can also have energy regeneration on it. And you can see the fire damage I got on this one is absolutely crazy. And the base on it as well has cast speed and cooldown speed. The cooldown speed's whatever, but that cast speed 10% increase is really nice on there as well. And then the fire damage. This weapon's actually really great. And I didn't even look into uniques for this build, honestly, because I just didn't feel the need to. Over here on your necklace, you can see I got a triple resistance plus energy barrier. This is a level 10 necklace, and it's really, really good, actually. Wow. Forgot I had this piece of gear, to be honest with you. But another thing you can find on necklace is you can also find energy regeneration. So if you could put that on, you could give up anything for energy regeneration, basically. As long as you have the other stuff on there with it. Around your rings, you're going to be looking for spell damage, fire damage, and crit chance. I guess I got lightning resistance on here, which isn't bad. I mean, still a pretty good ring. Then you can see over on this one as well, we do not want ailment power. So this ring, you know, I could keep farming for a better upgrade. But the other 3 stats are pretty good. The resistances, spell damage, crit chance. Over here on your arms, you're going to be looking for the base energy barrier. I think that's like on every piece of gear now. You're also going to be wanting to get resistance, knowledge, fire damage. Pretty straightforward item slot as well, I believe. This one I think I could find probably a better version of. Over on your boots, this is probably your third most piece. So if you want to follow along, we have helmets your most important, weapons second important, and boots your third most important. Arguably, I mean, maybe some of those are, let's just say they're all 3 more important than the other slots, okay? That's for the energy regen, and then over on your boots, movement speed. And you can actually find movement speed boots really early on in the game, but just checking the vendors and stuff. Main stat you're going to be looking for on your boots, though, is movement speed. Again, the base item is energy barrier. You're going to be looking for resistances and knowledge. These are a great pair of boots as well. I really like these ones. Now, over on your potions, yes, you can actually pick up better versions of potions and equip them. It's pretty awesome. Over on your health potion, you want just plus health, just to help with your life pool. And then over on your energy, you want energy regeneration, and then whatever else for the second one. Mine has maximum energy. Really doesn't matter. The max energy is nice, but you definitely want to have that energy regeneration as well. One other thing I wanted to dive into here a little bit here is I just kind of wanted to show off what my energy regeneration looks like. A little over 60 energy per second, which is pretty good. I mean, I would probably aim for around 40 or higher per second. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to do. I don't know. I just threw on all my stuff and this is what it ended up with. But really, it's not, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I know we have the exhaust with our rolling magma and stuff, which lowers your mana regen. But if you just quit using it for a second, you can see, like, watch, it's a 1-2 count, and then it literally starts to regen from the second I stop using this. See, I'm not regenerating it because I'm in exhaust, right? Now we stop casting it, boom. And then you can even use your no cost flame volley, and it'll keep on regenerating your energy as well. I really like this build a lot. But yeah, then the other thing I wanted to show you here was a little bit of my defenses. Before that, though, I can show you my fire damage. And you can actually see here with, once we have enough overload stacks going here, let's get a little, I'll see how many stacks I can get, or 19. I think I can get up to 40. All right, we're over 40, 50 even. All right. You can see we got over plus 300% fire damage bonus, and Yeah, that's thanks to those overload stacks there. But yeah, by just without any buffs and stuff like that, I think I'm at... Do I have a buff on right now? I guess I'm at plus 210 fire damage bonus. And remember, that's resolve and then gear and all your pass, everything we've covered basically in this video. And yeah, the last part here I want to cover here a little bit here was these defensive stats. You know, your resistances are important. I obviously don't practice what I preach and need to work on my resistances more. But in the current state of the game, and you know, there's not really that much past, there's nothing past Act 1. So, I mean, this has been fine here. But if you really wanted to min-max, you could balance these way better than I have. And also, yeah, I guess the last thing I wanted to point out here is you want to aim for at least 1k health. You know, the more the better, so you're not dying from those overload stacks. I mean, you can see I almost died here when I was trying to show you all my overload stacks going here. But it's pretty crazy. Basically, the way this is going to work here, I know I've had some gameplay going in the background, but I just wanted to wrap out the video here by showing you my favorite boss, going through a kill, and we'll just talk kind of briefly about the rotation here as well. And hopefully I won't die while I'm showing you this. So let's head on over here to my favorite boss to farm. And of course, all my stuff is on cooldown right now. Yeah, I mean, you can literally just spam your rolling magma. It's fine. Blink over here. And with Blink, if you use it again, it'll teleport me back to where I came from. So just kind of be aware of that. I mean, you'll learn it once you've done it once or twice. So you're literally going to come in here. You're going to pop your barrier, pop your ring of fire, and then you're just going to be blasting away the rolling magma. You can see that 33k crit right there. I like that one. And then when the boss comes out here, we're just going to kind of chill, wait for the stuff to pop out. The important thing here is you're going with your, I always go barrier first, ring of fire, and then I'll ignite, and then just blast away. I should have waited till my mana potion was reset there, but remember my trick here, if we use our flame volley, it just regenerates anyway. Make sure you got your ignite stack, and that should pretty much be the kill. Yeah, if you time it around your mana potions, you can get a lot faster kills on these bosses here, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Make sure you have your aura on, barrier, ring of flame, ignite the enemy if you want to. I guess the boss is still alive somehow. I guess it glitched. And then once they're ignited, yeah, just keep spamming your rolling magma. I think this thing actually glitched, y'all. Well, yeah, this happens rarely. This may be the third or fourth time that's happened, but anyway, I only ever noticed that bug if like the health bar is like about gone red as the barrier. Like if they both go away at the same time, it's like it just becomes invincible. Anyway, early access bug, right? So that's it. That's going to wrap it up for the Fire Elementalist here, the Earth and Storm Masteries combined into one. I really liked this build. I like the challenge of seeing how much I could really play against that exhaust mechanic, and I absolutely can't wait for more content because I think we're going to be able to make it even stronger, and hopefully I'll be able to outplay that exhaust mechanic even more. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this Titan Quest 2 video. Hopefully you found this video useful and or entertaining. If so, don't forget that like button and subscribe to the channel if you think I've earned it. Please consider becoming a YouTube channel member today. The support helps more than you know. But don't forget, your view alone means the absolute world. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.